This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, I hope you're all doing fantastic. Now, in this video, it's going to get a little bit complicated. Some of you will be able to keep up, some of you will not. But I think it's a good learning experience for those of you who are new into boxing. And of course, you want to know who's who, what the ranking systems are, all that kind of good stuff. But there's a reason why I'm doing it in this video compared to what I would normally do. Okay, and I'll explain it as this video goes along, and hopefully it will make sense. And yes, I will be going in on the WBA. And you'll see why in a second. Now, if you are new to the channel, firstly, welcome. Please click that subscribe button, especially if you like to be kept updated with the heavyweight division across all the alphabet belts. WBA, WBC, WBO, IBF, Ring Magazine. They're the 5 that I would normally do. So please click that subscribe button. Now, I'm not going to do the visuals for October, so because I've already done the visuals for last month, so I'm going to give you the list for October, but then I'm going to give you the visuals for what's going forward. And what is going forward when it comes to the WBA is that they changed their rankings on November the 1st. So on Monday, they released via their website their new top 15. Then 24 hours later, they did a complete U-turn and totally changed them again. So I'm actually going to give you all of them. So yes, WBA, I caught you. And I'm going to explain as this video goes along. So anyway, the top 15 for October, and then we're going to make the comparison. So for October last month, number 1, Daniel Dubois. Number 2, Michael Hunter. 3, Robert Helenius. 4, Hughie Fury. 5, Anthony Joshua. 6, Luis Ortiz. 7, Andy Ruiz Jr. 8, Mark Mori. 9, Usyk Cabiel. 10, Adam Kaunaki. 11, Zhan Kosabuski. 12, Filip Hrgovic. 13, Arslanbek Makhmudov. Number 14, Lenio Pero. And number 15, Martin Bakole. So that is the top 15 for WBA. Of course, Oleksandr Usyk is a WBA super champion, and Trevor Bryan is the regular champion, for whatever that's worth. Now, Robert Helenius, he's also the gold champion, again, for whatever that's worth. So that's October. On Monday, via their website, so not even Box Live picked it up, but I caught it, they released their top 15. So here is the top 15, and then I'm going to put them side by side, and I'm going to give you the 24-hour latest one, which of course stands today. Okay, again, there's a reason why I'm doing it. So, number 1, Daniel Dubois. Number 2, Michael Hunter. Number 3, Robert Helenius. Number 4, Hughie Fury. Number 5, Deontay Wilder. Number 6, Joseph Parker. Number 7, Anthony Joshua. Number 8, Luis Ortiz. Number 9, Usyk Cabiel. Number 10, Andy Ruiz Jr. Number 11, Mark Mori. Number 12, Zhan Kosabuski. Number 13, Filip Hrgovic. Number 14, Arslanbek Makhmudov. And number 15, Martin Bakole. So let's put October and November the 1st side by side. I'll give you a quick brief discussion. I did actually do a video on it, but of course I didn't upload it because when I went to put the source in the description box, as I always like to do, just to back up everything it is, WBA removed it from their website. But I think there's a reason why. We're going to get into it in the next phase in a couple of minutes. So the obvious changes, Adam Kaunaki and Lenio Pero have been dropped. Adam Kaunaki in October was ranked number 10, and Lenio Pero was ranked number 14. Now, Lenio Pero has only had 5 professional fights, but yet within their wisdom, put him into the top 15 of the world. When all he's beaten is journeymen. I don't care how good his amateur career was, but it is what it is. But they dropped him for November the 1st. Also, you'll notice that Deontay Wilder, of course, he lost his WBC belt. And then, of course, recently when he went to try and get it back in the 3rd fight with Tyson Fury, of course, got knocked out in that fight. But they put him straight in to number 5, above Anthony Joshua. Where Anthony Joshua, for me, I felt was disrespectful even last month. Yes, he lost his belt and belts to Oleksandr Usyk. But this is Anthony Joshua, who's been in many WBA sanctioned world title fights ever since, and including when he defeated Vladimir Klitschko. And they disrespect him by throwing him in there at number 5 in October, and on November the 1st, on Monday, dropped him down to number 7. So basically they're looking to stiff Anthony Joshua a little bit more. In addition to that, they put Joseph Parker, a guy who Anthony Joshua beat, above Anthony Joshua as well, in at number 6, which would have been a fresh insert. Okay, and of course, the elephant in the room, which has been for the past couple of months, Mark Mori. Mark Mori was number 8 last month, and this month, number 11, or at least on Monday, number 11. So they were pushing him in the right direction, considering Mark Mori has just been fighting journeyman. That's all he's been fighting, with the exception of David Haye on David Haye's comeback quite a few years ago, where he got absolutely blitzed. This is a guy who learned how to box on YouTube. He's a Australian, resides out of, I think, is it Croatia? I think his wife's Croatian or something. I might be wrong on that one. But either way, number 11, I mean, it's gash, isn't it? It's complete pony. Okay? Now, that is what they were looking at doing on November 1st. 24 hours later, something happened. I don't know what happened. Maybe the Alphabet Commission, as in the Associate Boxing Commission, who of course have been scrutinising and watching the WBA and threatening them with all kinds of sanctions and whatever else. Maybe they got hold of them and went, hold up, what the hell's going on here? So they decided to change it. So these are the new rankings. And again, we're going to do a side-by-side as well, just so I can show you where it is that or the thought process that they were trying to do, but then reverted back to. Okay, so here are the top 15 for as of right now, today. Number 1, Daniel Dubois. Number 2, Michael Hunter. 3, Robert Helenius. 4, Hughie Fury. 5, Anthony Joshua. 6, Deontay Wilder. 7, Ajit Cabello. 8, Andy Ruiz Jr. 9, Mark Mori. 10, Zhan Kosabuski. 11, Filip Hrgovic. 12, Arslanbek Makhmudov. Number 13, Martin Bakole. Number 14, Joseph Parker. And number 15, Tony Yoka. So let's put all three of them side by side. Now, if you were to look at, within a 24-hour period, November the 1st, for what they were looking originally to do, to then 24 hours later, where they were literally trying to stiff Anthony Joshua by not only disrespecting him by putting him in at number 5 in October, but in fact they were going to drop him down to number 7, but then within 24 hours went, okay, let's put him back into number 5. Okay, Wilder, fresh insert, in at number 6. They originally had him in at number 5 on Monday, but on Tuesday changed him to number 6. Joseph Parker, who they tried to put in at number 6, it's dropped all the way down to number 14. So again, he's still a fresh insert, but rather than slot him in at number 6, they put him in at number 14. For what reason? Who knows? But do you also notice something else? Luis Ortiz has finally been dropped from the top 15 of the WBA. Luis Ortiz, a guy who, his best win is Bryant Jennings back in 2015. And he's been fighting journeymen and gatekeepers ever since. I know he fought Wilder. I mean, Wilder's kind of that ilk. But, you know, as much as he was giving Wilder good fights in both of them, in fact, he was dominating Wilder in both of these fights, ultimately he got stopped. And that's what's important. The important thing is the result of the fight. But finally, they dropped him. Now, for me, I don't agree that they dropped him. Why did they drop him? No idea. I can only presume that he didn't pay a sanction fee this month. That's the only thing I could possibly think of. So they dropped him. Yeah, the WBA, if you want to be ranked in their top 15 or any of their rankings, you have to pay a sanction fee. Maybe he didn't pay it. Maybe. Or maybe they've seen Sport and Icons videos over the last several months going, why on earth are you ranking Luis Ortiz so high? I'm not against you ranking him in the top 15 or even arguably in the top 10. But don't be putting him in there at number 2, 3, 4 and 5 like you was before. And of course, number 6 last month. Don't take the absolute biscuit, but they've ultimately dropped him for this month. Tony Yoka is in fact a fresh insert. Now, Tony Yoka looks like he could well be fighting Martin Bakole in December. And again, this is according to Billy Nelson. They're waiting on some TV deal or something, and then that fight's going to happen in France. Tony Yoka, of course, is the Rio 2016 Olympic gold medalist. Yes, that is being under investigation right now. And it looks like they may actually take Tony Yoka's Olympic gold medal off him and award him a silver and give the gold to Joe Joyce. That's what it looks like they're going to be doing. But that's not official yet, so we'll really have to wait and see. But Mark Mori, number 9. Now, Mark Mori, last month in October, he was ranked number 8. In the month before, I've forgotten off the top of my head the video's up, but I'm sure he's ranked at like number 5 or number 6 or something like that. But last month he was ranked at number 8. On Monday, November 1st, they dropped him down to number 11, and within 24 hours they went, hang a minute, Mark Mori, the guy who beats Journeyman, and in his very last fight he knocked out a guy who he's knocked out twice already. I think number 11 is a little bit too low for him. Let's put him in at number 9. Are they corrupt or are they incompetent? I don't know which one it is. It's like the left hand don't know what the right hand's doing. The left hand is working in conjunction with the right foot, but the brain isn't engaged. I don't know what their thought process is behind a lot of this. Now, I can go through every single one of these and try and justify their positions, but it's just going to be pretty much me just repeating what it was that I said last month and the month before and the month before that and the month before that. So I don't really need to. But for me, obviously a couple of changes. That Martin Bakole moved from number 15, where he's been over the last 3 or 4 months. Now he's been put in at number 13. As I said, it looks like he could be fighting Tony Yoka even next. But Martin Bakole, he did have a fight about 2-3 weeks ago now, where he fought in Dubai on an MTK show. He took on an absolute bin man, but either way, he got a win, so he's been boosted 2 places for that. Now, Filip Hrgovic, he hasn't had a fight since. Zan Kosabuski, he hasn't had a fight since. Andy Ruiz Jr., he hasn't had a fight since. Ajit Kabiel hasn't had a fight since, and nor have a lot of people. Hughie Fury, number 4, has. He fought and stopped Christian Hammer. Now, I was ringside for that one here in Newcastle. Thought Hughie Fury done fantastic in that one. Felt he handled Christian Hammer better than I've ever seen anybody handle Christian Hammer. And ultimately, Christian Hammer, he got pulled out, what was it, ended around number 5 or something like that, where Hughie Fury, you could see Hughie Fury was about to get the stoppage win. So for me, that was a decent win. But I would like now to see Hughie Fury take on somebody within the top 15 next. I'd like to see that. Would anybody in the top 15 want to fight Hughie Fury? I don't know. But again, if you look at the boxing politics right now and look at the sanctioning bodies, in this particular case, look at the WBA, you can quite clearly see that obviously Joshua, Usyk, they're going to be having their rematch. Okay, so Joshua's number 5 position, it is what it is. In reality, it doesn't really matter what position Anthony Joshua is in, because he's going to be getting a world title shot. Again, if he beats and defeats and gets revenge on Oleksandr Usyk, of course, he will then be back at the top of the pile. But that removes that equation as far as if the Super Championship is concerned with the WBA. The regular one, Trevor Bryan, looks like he could be fighting Daniel Dubois. I know Frank Warren and Don King are currently talking. That'd be very interesting considering their history. So maybe Daniel Dubois versus Trevor Bryan for the WBA regular. Is it the right thing to do? Is it the wrong thing to do? Listen, he's a Brit. I support Daniel Dubois, but the reality is he lost to Joe Joyce. In his very next fight, he fights number 1 in the WBA, Bogdan Dinu, who should not have been the number 1. He shouldn't have even been in the top 15. But the WBA, in all their wisdom, just might, like they're doing with quite a few fighters, including Mark Mori, decided to throw him in there. Is it down to sanction fees? Probably. Is it down to corruption? Probably. Or is it down to incompetence? Probably. Any of the above, who knows? But he did defeat Bogdan Dinu, and they put him straight in at number 1. As a WBA interim champion, they've now removed the interim status. So maybe Daniel Dubois will be fighting Trevor Bryan next. If not, we know Emmanuel Char has some kind of legal case. So maybe he has to fight Trevor Bryan next. So if not, don't be surprised if you see Daniel Dubois versus a Michael Hunter for the mandatory position, or a Michael Hunter versus Robert Helenius, or a Michael Hunter versus a Hughie Fury. So don't be too surprised if Hughie Fury gets a final eliminator to become the WBA mandatory, which, by the way, will be called next before the WBO, before the IBF. The WBA will be next. So if Hughie Fury fights, say, Dubois, Hunter, or Helenius even, whoever it may be, gets the win, he's in line to face the Joshua Usyk rematch winner. But we'll have to wait and see what his management team, his trainer, of course, his father, Peter Fury, a boxer, Sky Sports, Shalom, and Ben Shalom, do with Hughie Fury. Can they try and get maybe a Hunter or Helenius to get the WBA to agree to it to be a final eliminator? So don't be surprised. Either way, I'd like to see Hughie Fury fight somebody in the top 15 next. I'd love to see that. Maybe Mark Demori, just get him out of the way. In fact, actually, on Monday, when I first seen the November the 1st one, I actually took a screenshot and I sent it to Steve Robinson and said, listen, in your next fight, your 5th fight, take on Mark Demori. Speak to Ben Shalom and Boxer, Sky Sports, obviously his own manager, Mark Clazel. Of course, I'll text him as well. Get Mark Demori as your next opponent. Steve Robinson would absolutely batter Mark Demori. But hey, Mark Demori, if you think I'm wrong on this one, feel free to contact them and go fight Stephen Robinson in his 5th professional fight. You've got a lot more experience. Prove me wrong. Anyway, my thoughts, you drop me yours, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video.